Just give me a second. Cool. We are in business now. It started. Good. Now you can go ahead and ask the question.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sir, just one doubt. For Shankara Bhashyan, in Shankara Bhashyan, what is the concept of celestial deities? What he gives importance to celestial deities? We have seen in Ramanuja Bhashya that in the 3rd chapter, celestial deities, he says are nothing but is Amsha of Sriman Narayana. So for according to Shankara Bhashya, celestial deities, what he has given importance, sir?
See, I'll give you a small answer now, but I'll give you a more detailed answer later on, because we will consider that while going through Shankara Bhashya. That's an important question. Okay. A simple answer is, for Shankaracharya, based on the Ishta Devata concept, families have their own Ishta Devatas, different families. They can follow any particular Devata as long as they are directly using, through that Devata, they will reach Vasudeva. But Vasudeva for Shankaracharya is Atman only. See, he does not, the term Vasudeva does not mean Krishna as the son of Vasudeva. That is not the one which Shankaracharya has in mind. The term Vasudeva for Shankaracharya in most of the Bhagavad Gita, in almost all portions of the Bhagavad Gita, it is Atman, or all-pervading Brahman only. So the thing is, the deities are intermediary. Deities have their own lokas, their own different, Indra loka, Chandra loka, or some Brahma loka, or something like that. But they are not. They are important for bhakti because they are more concrete. They have a rupa, guna form, and everything like that. Easy. They are accessible for younger people. For even, it doesn't matter, for people with Dehatma Brahma. That means people who are mistaking this body as I. That includes a lot of people. So those people, it's easy for them to go to Saguna Upasana or something with a deity. So they can use any deity they want. Okay? Yeah. We will go to a much deeper assessment of this a little bit later. All right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, we are going to go to the next part of Shankara Bhashya. See, let me be open here before we start. I want to give a little bit of introduction. I really thank all of you because you are giving me a chance to study Shankara Bhashya in detail in a conceptual way, in a formal, really powerful way. So you're giving me an opportunity to present this and record it and keep it for posterity. This will help a lot of people who want to go beyond and really understand each Acharya's Bhashya in depth. So you are doing a favor to the other people around the world. Because if you were not there, I probably would not have done this recording. And if we didn't have this recording, other people would lose out also. So we namaskaram to everybody first, honestly. Asmat Guru Pyo Namaha. Asman Parama Guru Pyo Namaha. Asman Sarva Guru Pyo Namaha. Shri Krishna Prabhupada Namaha. Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Prabhupada Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishna Namaste. So with this we will start. So the way I'm going to do this is, initially I thought I would just go take up about say 10, 4 or 5 lectures and finish up Shankara Bhashya. Just say in one lecture, what is the summary of the first 6 chapters of Shankara Bhashya? In the second lecture, I would say, what is the summary of second 6 chapters? or in the third lecture, I would say, what is the summary of the third lecture? And this is how I am planning, because this is how I plan to teach the Hindu University of America, right? But I thought that, we have time. We are not restricted by time like how the university is restricted. So I thought it's better to have a clear understanding of concepts of Shankara Bhashya rather than rushing through it. At the same time, we are not doing verse by verse Shankara Bhashya now. We will do it later. But I want all of you to get a good concept of Shankara Bhashya. So we will take a few more classes. When I'm happy, I will say, okay, this is it. The overview is over. And we will start the next Bhashya, maybe Madhu Bhashya, right? So it is possible. One more thing I want to add is, in the next few lectures, I'll be doing the concepts of Shankara Bhashya. Concepts. These are important because these concepts define Shankaracharya's view clearly and separate out their view, that is Shankaracharya's view, from other views. So once that is done, I will take 3 or 4, 5 classes only to summarize the first, chapter by chapter summary. That is first few chapters, second few chapters, or even by one, we will go and say, this is the summary of Shankara Bhashya as an overview. But before that, we have to finish all the concepts. The concepts could be Shankaracharya's concepts of Karma Sannyasa. What exactly is Karma Sannyasa? His theory of Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada. See, we talked about it in other classes too. That is, a long time back, so by looking at some particular verse, I talked about Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada. It was not very profound. It was contextual at that time. But now we will have conceptually what Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada is, why Shankaracharya does not agree with Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada. That means how to mix Jnana and Karma. He doesn't like that. Why? So that one we will cover probably today. I won't have time to cover the concept of Jnana Karma Samuchaya Vada and attacks of Shankaracharya against it. We have talked about it a while ago. In some lecture, I'm sure we have talked about, but I want to give it a little bit more different spin now. So we will be talking about what is Jnana Nishtha for Shankaracharya, what is Karma for Shankaracharya, what are the different kinds of karmas for Shankaracharya, and also what is Bhakti in the Shankara Bhashya, and what is Maya in the Shankara Bhashya. So these are some conceptual views. All these will take a few classes. Let me stop here and ask you your view on it. What do you think about this? Am I going in reasonably okay way, or is it becoming too problematic? What do you think?
உங்களுடைய இத்தனை வருஷமா நீங்க படிச்சு இவ்வளவு தூரம் இருக்க நாலேஜை இன்னும் நீங்க சொல்ற மாதிரி நீங்க இன்னும் விருத்தி அடைய பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க, நாங்க கேட்கறதுனாலன்ட்டு. ஆனா எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் ஒன்னும் தெரியாதவாளுக்கு கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா என்னவோ ஊட்டுற மாதிரி எங்களுக்கு எளிமையா சொல்றது ரொம்ப அற்புதமா இருக்கு. எவ்வளவு தூரம் கிரகிச்சுக்கிறோமோ எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் தான் இது இல்லையாடி என்னது. அதனால எனக்கு இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொல்ல முடியல, அதனால தமிழ்ல சொல்றேன். நீங்க பிரமாதமா பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க. ஒன்னும் தெரியாத வாளுக்கு இன்னதுதான் அப்படின்னு கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா புரிய வச்சுட்டு இருக்கீங்க, ஸ்பூன் ஃபீடிங்ற மாதிரி.
வெரி குட். நான் கன்ஃபியூஸ் உங்களெல்லாம் கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ணாம இருந்தா எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம்.
I fully agree with her. Whatever she said at time, it's perfectly 100% right. And we like your humility and self-effacing character, that you're coming down to our level. That is really good.
Honestly, I'm gaining a lot from all these things. Believe me, I'm so selfish. Without any selfish motive, I will not do any work.
இல்ல, பாகமா அதெல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு வேணும்ன்றதுனாலதான் எங்களெல்லாம் இப்படி கேட்க வச்சு உங்களை இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் படிக்க வச்சு எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். அதுதான் உண்மை.
Very good, very good. So people agree and we can start.
This is Prashant here.
Yes.
So sir, I am just awaiting every lecture of yours. So I am happy that you are going slow. If it is very fast, it would be difficult for a person like me.
Yeah. So, and last time I had this, when I was mixing different acharyas' views, it was tough for some people. See, today, honestly, when I started studying and preparing the slides, I was so confused that, am I understanding it right? Because Shankara Bhashya is not that easy. So I was confused this morning, and even when today she is not present, Srimati Ravi Gauri Ganesh, she called me at 3 p.m. and I was like, blank. My mind was blank. I didn't know what I was talking about. What would I do today, right? I was thinking. So, but now I have a slightly better calm mind. I understand what to teach today. Let's see where we go. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. Okay.
Krishnanji,
yes, tell me.
Yeah, maybe later. I just want to give a quick recap of what I understood about Shankara Bhashya, but not now, only towards the end.
Okay, towards the end, question answer session.
Sure.
Give an idea and we'll talk about what I feel about it. Okay?
Yeah, it is your turn. I want an opportunity more.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Or 10 or 13 slides which we will see how we can go through, how we can understand. I don't think it's going to be difficult, but it took me a while for me to understand and get the slides right. Okay?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Where is my... Oh, I don't see my PowerPoint. Hold on. 19. It's here. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me make sure you all see it. Well, let me put it on from current slideshow. Okay. Can everybody see this? Oh, I made a mistake. On a second. Just a second, please. Okay, you can see?
Yeah, yes.
You can hear, you can see, perfect. Okay. Shankara Bhashya concepts continued. Okay. We'll go last time. Okay, what is this? Oh, okay. The usage is coming up here. Okay, here. Okay. So in the last slide I showed you in the previous just a second, please. Okay, the last slide I showed you was Sahakari sadhana karanas. That means the cooperative means which gives you conducive environment, conducive variables around you, which will help you purify your mind. And one of the activities which will help you is unflinching devotion to the Lord. That is resorting to solitary places, not going to parties every day, and disinterested in always mixing with people and communicating with people with no real interest in Atma Jnana. All these things, if you develop these, it will be useful. Mai Ishwara Ananya Yogena. That means Shankaracharya says the Lord has to be worshipped without getting attracted to other things. Be sincere in your devotion to the Lord. This is very important to attain Chitta Shuddhi or purity of mind. Now, suppose I say, oh, you've given me a list of like 10, 15 cooperative means to achieve Chitta Shuddhi. What if I disregard these methods? I don't have time for all these things. Acharya, Upasanam, being nice to a teacher, and then, controlling anger, controlling senses. These are all not possible for me. If you do, what happens that way? What if you do that? Obviously, you will get deeper and deeper and deeper into samsara bandha. And what are the what is samsara bandha? Samsara bandha is bondage in samsara. You may not be imprisoned in a particular a particular room or a jail or something like that. Think about, even though you think that the whole world is so huge, you can go anywhere you want, but you still be bound. What will make you bound? If you practice and if you think that you are very proud of whatever you have achieved, proud of money, proud of kula or the family you're born in, proud of so many things, that will hurt you. Hypocrisy, that means thinking something that you're all pure and all, but actually you're not really you're not living up to your what you think you are. Cruelty to people, to animals, to everything, that takes away your purity. Impatience with everything, you have to avoid. You have to be sincere in everything you do. Insincerity causes trouble. All these have to be avoided. If not, one gets deeper into samsara. So once you are sincere, then the cooperative means, all these methods you use help you purify your mind, and that will make you ready for Atma-jnana. Why is it important? Because by nature we seek outer objects. From the day we are born, we want to look outside and say, I want that, I want this. Oh, look at that, that's a good thing. Oh, look at that, let's go play. All these things are where our mind is always focused outside. We are married to this mind. And as you know, the story of Puranjana, or the person who lives in this body, which is known as the Navadvara Puri, or the city with 9 gates. We are that. And we are married to the mind. The mind is always making us focus on only what the mind wants us to focus. If mind wants to think that, oh, this is not a good thing for us to focus. What is this Bhagavad Gita and all those things? The mind will take you away. So we are married to the mind. We are married to the external objects. We have to let go and disconnect from the control of the mind. Don't make mind your boss. So this is what we have discussed till now a little bit, and we're just trying to understand what these cooperative means are. And if we disregard, we will get into trouble. We will be very upset. We will not find any value. See, the peace comes from within. Peace is not in an external object. Oh, I got a new car. That doesn't mean that you got peace. I got this, I got that, I became the head of something. That's not peace. They're all external achievements. Peace comes from within Atma-jnana. With going closer to that Atman, that gives you peace. Okay, now, then we talk about auxiliary disciplines and karmas in the Shankaracharya. The auxiliary disciplines are, if you do this, you will eventually get purity of mind. What are that? Karma yoga and upasana. And upasana can be sometimes clubbed under the term karma yoga. So these parampara sadhanas are auxiliary disciplines, or two, karma yoga and upasana. But karmas in general, according to Shankaracharya we are talking about at this point, there are two kinds. Secular worldly duties. That means anything which give, family, you have a lot of things, responsibilities regarding family, right? Taking care of children, making sure the children have food, water, shelter, and most importantly, good education and moral values. So many things, that's not easy. So the responsibilities, you should not get out of the responsibilities. Never should you shirk your responsibility. And on top of it, you look around and outside, you see so many poor people, so many people who need so many things. even animals, and everybody needs something. You give charity to them. That becomes sort of a, moral responsibility. And service to others, people who may have some disadvantages, some events which have caused trouble to them, put them in dire poverty, or in some, people may get some diseases or whatever it is. So you help them out. These are all secular worldly duties. They're also important. Then comes the Vaidika karmas. What the Shastras say about the actions. What are the karmas? Yajna, Dana, Tapas. So thing is, Shankaracharya mentions this Yajna, Dana, Tapa karma. In the Bhagavad Gita also, the Yajna, Dana, Tapa karma are mentioned. Bhagavad Gita says, Yajna, Dana, Tapa karma natyajyam karyame vatate. That should not be given up. This Yajna, Dana, Tapas. What is Yajna, Dana, Tapas? Sacrifice. Vaidika sacrifice is some kind of a agnikarya, something like would be there. There's also community service, charity. Tapas is austerity. That means making, sometimes it may involve eating less food, or fasting, or not talking too much, being silent for certain periods of time, or doing some kind of a chanting or something like that. Austerity, it is some kind of a kaya klesha. Kaya klesha is bodily hard work, bodily efforts, which, obviously it's not like putting up your legs and then watching a movie or something. That is not kaya klesha. Okay. So the two kinds of karmas are secular worldly duties and Vaidika karmas. Both are important. There are some things which you should avoid. They are immoral actions. You should avoid them. And that is known as Vikarma according to Shankaracharya. Please understand, the word Vikarma means something else in the Ramanuja Bhashya. Vikarma means immoral actions according to Shankaracharya. The word vi in Sanskrit, something which comes before the karma, vi has different connotations, meanings. Akarma means not doing the stuff you are supposed to do. Negligence or indifference towards your own responsibilities. That is akarma. You should never do that. That means avoid all akarmas. Avoid negligence towards your responsibilities. Do your duties. Even Shankaracharya, who could have said, oh, now I am a Swamiji, I don't have to do any work. He could have given up his responsibilities towards his mother. No. He just gave up, even though the whole city was against, the whole village he grew up was against him. He himself, it seems, what I've heard, obviously these are old hagiological or some kind of stories. There's some, prior Acharya stories. They say he had to move his mother's body, and because other people would not even help him do the cremation, he has to cut it up into pieces and then do the cremation. That's what I've heard. I may be wrong. But the question is, responsibility Shankaracharya took very seriously. And he says everybody should take their responsibility. Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas, Brahmacharis, children. Children may not have any responsibilities. They're just having their fun, right? So akarma, don't do that. That is, staying away from responsibilities is wrong. Karma should be assiduously performed. That is what Shankaracharya says. These are all. Why are we talking about all these auxiliary disciplines? The parampara sadhanas. The sadhanas is to achieve chitta shuddhi, or purification of mind, purity of mind. Now, Shankaracharya talks about two different types of dharmas. Pravritti dharma is that which involves action, and that is for the worldly prosperity here. That is known as pravritti dharma. Nivritti dharma is to get away from this world of actions and get back closer to the realization of Atma. So what is this Pravritti Dharma? Pravritti Dharma is based on the type of family you're born. And because when you're born, you don't have a choice. Your mother says, okay, I'm a hunter. We all should go hunt. Help me out, little kid. And the mother can take the little kid away into the forest and start hunting. So it is definitely based on the family you grow up with. So it has got some Varna Dharmas there. It leads to deities and lokas. In Varnashrama Dharma, what will you eventually get after taking care of your family duties and the responsibilities towards your family, your society, and the world at large? Then you see, okay, I want something beyond next world, right? Beyond this existence. That leads to the devatas, deities of different kinds, different names, and lokas. Lokas means different. The deities may live in a different world altogether, different, like a parallel universe. So your Varnashrama Dharma leads to those lokas when performed with complete devotion to the Lord. See, they may have different deities, but they may mean that is the deity which is my Lord, and then everybody, that is the final thing for me. They may have that kind of a view, right? As long as they are saying that the deity worshipped is the perfect, highest, the all-pervading, all-powerful, all-merciful, with uncountable, auspicious qualities, then that person is doing the right method of worship. So if that person worships without hankering for fruits, that is, you're not asking for anything, oh, give me that, give me this, nothing. If you give up all the desires for fruits, then you will get Sattva-Guna. That means your mind will become pure. And Chitta Shuddhi, that's also, they're similar. They're, one leads to the other. So once you get Sattva-Guna, purity of mind, you will be competent to go through the path of knowledge known as Jnana Marga. And that's what is important for Shankaracharya, because Jnana leads to moksha, that is complete cessation of this world experience and becoming one with Brahman. So Pravritti Dharma is also important because indirectly it leads to supreme bliss. It may directly involve a lot of actions, but because you are taking away the desire out of those actions, they become pure, and eventually it will give you ultimate happiness. Now, there are supporting shlokas where Shankaracharya explains his views, and I'm just quoting a few of them. In one shloka, in the 5th chapter, 10th shloka and 11th shloka, both and 12th shloka, these 3 shlokas are connected. Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyate nasapapena padma patra mivambhasa. A person who does all the work dedicated to Brahman or Ishwara here, without any association, that person, without any attachments, that person does not get tainted by any papa. So papa will not come to him or her. Padma patram ivam bhasa. That means like how the water droplets on the leaf of it, on the lotus leaf, which just falls off the leaf and does not even taint that leaf. Like that, all these actions will not taint this person. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalai indriyairapi yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atmashuddhaye. So the yogis do their action through their mind and body and intellect and the senses without attachment, and that purifies them. Yuktaha karmaphalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. So the thing is, once they give up the fruits of their actions, they will get this nishtha. What is this nishtha? Naishtikim, nishtayam bhavam, that they get into a steady state of nishtha. What is that? Sattva-Shuddhi, purification. Then the Sattva-Shuddhi will give jnana. Jnana prapti. Jnana prapti means attainment of knowledge of Brahman, of Atman. And that makes the person gives up all actions, Sarva-Karma Sannyasa. And actions are given up, and he is becoming one with jnana, and he is established in jnana, and that is given in Shankaracharya 5:12. So let us try to understand what is Karma Yoga for Shankaracharya. He sometimes uses the term only yoga, and he means Karma Yoga. So that if he uses the term just yoga, that means Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga, according to Shankaracharya, is a means to attain self-knowledge, that is Atma-jnana. And you can do any kind of actions. And all these actions whatsoever can be converted into Karma Yoga. How would you do that? You have to take into account 4 principles. And the 4 principles are, first one is to give up egoistic attitude. Aham mama. That means that's for me, that's for me. Everything should be for me. That attachment you give up. Asakta buddhihi sarvatra. This is given in the 18th chapter, 46 shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Asakta buddhihi, without attachment, everywhere. Give up attachment to family, everything. But you can live in a family without attachment also. This is the hard part. Know that everybody is traveling with you towards Brahman, and you need everybody, children, husband, wife, family, friends, everybody are necessary. But you think that all of them are with you, but they're also traveling towards Brahman. So if you give up attachment, you will control your mind, and desires are reduced. You attain Naishkarmya Siddhi, or the fruit of karmalessness. Sannyasena adhigacchati. That means through sannyasa, giving up. This is not giving up karma initially. Okay, karma is not given up. Eventually it will happen at a very high level. But first give up attachment. That is the first step. We are only talking about the first step. Asakta buddhihi. Later on what happens, that may happen after janmas. But we first start with giving up attachment. Then you give up hankering after the fruits of actions. Whatever you do, you offer it to Paramatma. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddha siddhyoho samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. You do an action, suppose you fail, you don't worry about it. You do something, you suppose you succeed, you don't jump up and down with the elation. Okay, there were so many forces, Ishwara gave me the fruit. And that's it, and it's all given back to him. So many people helped me. It's given back to them. So many devatas are in my body. They're working through my eyes, my ears, my brain, the blood flow system, the heart, everything. They're being helped by the devatas. It's all their work. So you don't associate agency or kartritva or the desire for fruits. So give up the fruits of karma. Then you maintain equipoise. Whatever happens, disaster happens, well, this is all the work of this wonderful Lord, and everything is His glory. I'm not going to be worried about. I will stay calm with equipoise. I deal with everything around. Whatever happens, I will have that. That determination you should have. And you should understand that nothing is under your control. So why are you worried? Then finally, the fourth one is surrendering all actions to Ishwara. Krishna says in the 3rd chapter, very important shloka, 3.30, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. Give to me, dedicate to me all actions. Adhyatma chetasa, thinking that I am the controller here. Nirashihi nirmamo bhutva. Don't be, give up desires. Give up the feeling of, oh, it's for me, it's for me. Give up the me aspect. Bhutva yuddhyasva vigatattvaraha. This is a message to Arjuna. Say, go ahead and do your job of the, getting into the war. Complete what you have started. So these 4 points, giving up attachment, ego, giving up attachment to fruits of actions, maintaining equipoise in whatever type of situation, and surrendering all actions to Ishvara. If you do all your work, whatever it may be, and if you put these 4 principles with it, that action will be converted to Karma Yoga. Now, let's try to understand Karma Yoga even more in depth. Some people may have purity of mind. They don't get perturbed. They're already calm. Why is that? Some people have that advantage because they have done something, all these Karma Yogas in the previous birth. Or they might have done when they were young, and later on they became very self-controlled, and with a lot of equanimity, they deal with any kind of situation they are facing. So once such an equipoise and equanimity settles within you, that means you take everything with this kind of a view. You're calm. Then you are fit for Atma Jnana. What would you do once you are fit for Atma Jnana? Shravana. You will hear about Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras, and all. You hear about it. You listen to it. So all of us already have some equipoise already. Otherwise, we wouldn't be listening to Bhagavad Gita today. So be happy about it. But this becomes a very powerful second nature to an advanced person who is very pure. Shravana is listening. Manana is thinking about it. That is contemplating on all these ideas. Then Nididhyasana, it becomes intuitively within you to contemplate and realize. See, Nididhyasana has different meanings. I have to check with Shankaracharya again in depth to figure out what exactly Shankaracharya says as Nididhyasana. We will figure that out. Next time I'll figure that out. I couldn't check the Bhashya in depth today. But on the other hand, somebody is always agitated. Nothing makes this person happy. And if some neighbor becomes wealthy, this person gets agitated. If this person cannot fails in some things, the person will totally lose it. He will throw things in the home. The typical scene in a movie. Somebody is very agitated. They, if they're in a kitchen, they throw all the pots and pans and break them all. They break the whole thing. What is it? Too bad. That's a bad state. One has to start doing Upasana. One has to be guided by a guru and the Shastras. And they have to calm their mind. Once they are guided by the right people and the Shastras, then one can get a steady mind. Funny thing here is, once you get a steady mind, then you are ready to practice the cooperative means which we did in the last class. That is amanitvam, having not proud, adambitvam, not becoming arrogant. So all these things we talked about in the last class about the 13 qualities you need to get. Even to get prepared to get those 13 qualities, you should have already gone through Karma Yoga, already gone through guidance from a guru and shastras, and how to calm your mind. That means once you calm your mind, then you are ready to practice the 13 steps which were given in the last class for further purification. So to make your all those activities makes you they're all conducive for your Atma Jnana or purity of your mind. Now, what is Karma Sannyasa? Last time we picked up Karma Yoga, what is Karma Sannyasa and all. Now we are coming to what is Karma Sannyasa? This is a hard topic, even according to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also. In the end, what is karma, what is Karma Sannyasa, what is Tyaga, what is Sannyasa? Krishna mentions so many views because so many different, even elevated personalities, maybe even rishis, might have had different views regarding this karma, action, and giving up karma. So even even here we mentioned 2 or 3 different views. Just by giving up actions, you will not get naishkarmya or the karmalessness or actionlessness or the realization of Atma Swarupa. You just cannot drop your work or responsibility, whatever you're doing, and get it. So by actually giving up attachment, you may get it. That is the karmalessness, which is naishkarmya siddhi. And that is the realization of Atman eventually. Some people say, just giving up the kamya karmas, that is that which involves desires, that is known as sannyasa. So not giving up, see, all karmas you cannot give up anyway. You can't give up movement, that, eating and all, you cannot give up. So only desire-oriented karmas, if you give up, that is sannyasa. So some people feel like that. Some people say, no, it's not about giving up karma. It's actually giving up the fruits of karmas. Give up the fruits of karmas. You do your action. Whatever fruit comes, you offer it to Lord. You are not thinking that you are doing it. And if you are eating, you say, I am eating so that I can do more work, which is dedicated to the Lord. So nothing belongs to you. So karma phalatyaga, or giving up the fruits of action, that is real karma sannyasa, according to some people. What is Shankaracharya's view on this topic of karma sannyasa? There are so many statements in the Gita which could definitely confuse everybody. And now we have to understand Shankaracharya's view on karma sannyasa. Let's go further. This one will come back again, right? We'll come back again because it's a little bit complicated. First, we have to understand, for Shankaracharya, Atman is all-pervading. Brahman is all-pervading, which is true for other acharyas too. Brahman is imperishable. We are talking only about Shankaracharya now. Brahman cannot be destroyed. Brahman does not become stale or corroded or rust. Brahman cannot be changed. And Brahman has nothing to do with karma. His actionlessness is his feature. It's the attribute of Brahman. Brahman doesn't have attributes, by the way. So karma does not taint Brahma. Brahman has nothing to do with karma. And that Brahman, Atman, is the essence of our being. We exist because that Brahman is there. Once a person gets this knowledge clearly established in the mind, there is no possibility of that person doing any karma or action, because that person has lost the concept of doership. He is not an agent. If I do something, I think that, oh, I'll do something to get something. I am a person who can do it. I'm the agent. I am the doer. I can do this. I have done it before. This agency is there. And if that agency is there, that is ignorance. Because agency comes only if you don't know Brahman is actionless and Brahman is pure, Brahman is not involved in anything else. Anything. So Paramartha Sannyasa is ultimate, absolute sannyasa. That is giving up all actions. Why? Only a person who mistakes the body to be that person, who has Dehatma Buddhi, that person cannot give up karmas. But one person who realizes that this body is not that person, he is Atman, then he has nothing to do with the body, so he will not act. But to get to the state of absolute Paramartha Sannyasa, it is very difficult. Nahi deha bruta shakyam tyaktum karmani asheshataha. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the person who has a body cannot give up actions completely. He cannot give. He may give up some actions, but not completely. So Shankaracharya says, no, because the Paramartha Sannyasa or complete giving up of actions is not possible for most people. If they give up karma phalas, that is the fruits of actions, that is enough. And that itself is taken as sannyasa by Shankaracharya. So Shankaracharya says there is a secondary sannyasa, not the main primary sannyasa. The secondary sannyasa says just giving up fruits is okay. You act, you do anything, but give up the fruits, dedicate it to the Lord. So the genuine realization, sannyasa is genuine renunciation, is Paramartha Sannyasa, that is giving up all actions. Because actions are all born out of ignorance only. And that ignorance is given up by this realized person. That person gives up all actions. That's not possible for everybody. Some people give up only the fruits of actions or desire for the fruits. Okay, now, there is a slide. This slide belongs to an Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It does this is not present in the Bhagavad Gita, but this is important for the Advaita people, and Shankaracharya supports this fourth ashrama called the Sannyasa ashrama. So people give up the householder grihastha ashrama and become sannyasis. And that is not supported or even commented in the Bhagavad Gita original. So Shankaracharya explains it using a Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And they call it as Mumukshu Ashrama Sannyasa. And what does that person do? He gives up all agency, kartrutva. He walks away from grihastha, that is married life, and he starts controlling his mind and senses, yama niyama, and he starts meditating, dhyana. So this is required. And that person can wear a saffron cloth and then walk away. And he becomes a parivrajaka, that means he goes from place to place to place to place. He doesn't stay in one place. Such a person can attain Brahmaloka, which is a very pure, high state. But this is not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. So we just mention it because this is important in the Shankaracharya's view of knowledge, a view of the Shastras. Okay. According to Shankaracharya, the lower forms of sannyasa is that which gives up Ishwara Parityaga. So even this fourth state, what we talked about this fourth Varnashrama Dharma, Sannyasa Ashrama, that is also Ishwara Parityaga. Ishwara Parityaga is Putreshana, Vitteshana, Lokaishana. There are three Ishanas or attachments. Putreshana is the desire to have children. That involves all the other things like kama, krodha, and all those things. It is desire to have children. Putreshana, Vitteshana, desire to have wealth. Lokaishana is desire to have fame. I want to be famous. Everybody should look up to me. That kind of fame, the desire for fame, all these three should be given up for this sannyasa ashrama. If one cannot give up all these three, he does not have qualification. Then he has to start doing karma yoga and dhyana yoga to get the control and to give up all these three desires. So he has to come back to karma yoga. So karma yoga is a starting point. Karma yoga is the only means for one who does not have atma jnana. The realized persons do not need karma yoga, but those who do not have that complete realization of Atman, they have to do karma yoga. This Atma Jnana, again, one can say, what kind of Atma Jnana? Is it just theoretical knowledge? No, it has to be practical knowledge.
Can I ask a doubt, sir? Or afterwards, can I ask you a doubt?
Hold on a second. This is the last slide. Why don't we finish this last slide?
Okay.
Can ask. Yeah, good thing you noted down all the questions. Keep it ready. This is the last slide. So sometimes Karma Yogi in the Bhagavad Gita itself is called sannyasi. And Shankaracharya says that is not a primary sannyasi. Karma Yogi is called a sannyasi in a secondary way because he gives up the hankering after fruits of karma. He doesn't have any desires for the fruits. So he is also called sannyasi. Similarly, some people say giving up kamya karmas are rituals which are done to attain a particular desire, like having children or having wealth, or to achieve some success in some kind of an endeavor. This kind of kamya karmas are achieving a swargaloka, indra loka or something. These are all kamya karmas. Those kamya karmas, if you give up, that itself can, such a person can also be called a sannyasa in a limited way. So these two are secondary type of sannyasas, not primary. For the primary, which is the absolute Paramartha Sannyasa, you have to give up all actions. So Karma Sannyasa is of two kinds. Karma Sannyasa is for the absolute Paramartha Sannyasa, or Karma Sannyasa could be giving up phala or just fruits, or giving up kamya karmas or the desire-oriented rituals and actions. So karma sannyasa comes in different colors. Now, we will talk about jnana karma samuchaya in the next class. This is a very important topic. For now, I'm open for question answers. We can even stop sharing. Go ahead.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Hello?
Go ahead.
See, actually, I'm getting confused between karma yoga, and karma sannyasa. Karma, I understood. Karma yoga means a person who is in a stage to realize the Atman will do karma yoga. Then karma sannyasa means once he realizes the Atman, then he has to give up that fruits. Then he is called as karma sannyasa, sir.
See, I told you karma sannyasa is of two types, right? Paramartha karma sannyasa. Paramartha sannyasa is giving up all actions whatsoever. That's absolute. And that person will be an Atma Jnani. But somebody who is not there yet can give up, say, kamya karmas, desire-oriented karmas. Even that person will become karma sannyasa, but to some extent, right? But if you give all the fruits of actions, that is karma sannyasa also. But that is still a karma yogi. So see how the word terms
I'm getting confused. That's why confused I'm getting. Karma yoga means who is going to realize the Atman is called karma yoga. Karma sannyasa means next stage of karma yoga.
No. I told you what is karma yoga. Karma yoga can do any actions, but he dedicates. He first gives up attachment. Okay, attachment to fruits, and he dedicates everything to the Lord. He surrenders to the Lord. And we talked about two more conditions there in the beginning of this one. That is he doesn't think that he is the agent. Sattva-Guna.
Yes.
Right. And then Phalatyaga. He gives up the desires. And Ishwara Arpana Buddhi. Right. So the thing is, let me show that. I share it again. Easier to. I really don't remember the four exactly properly. Okay, let me just. See, Oh, not here, here. Maintaining equipoise, maintaining equanimity. That's one thing. Surrendering all actions and giving up egoistic attitude and giving up karma phala. These are the 4 things which you can add to any karma. You can do any action, but if you put these 4 things, that will become karma yoga.
Okay, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Karma yoga, you will only become ready for jnana. You don't get jnana immediately. Then your mind has to be pure after some several years or janmas, who knows?
Yes, sir.
Then Atma Jnana comes. Okay? And Atma Jnana comes only in the Jnana Nishtha. That is, you will go to the next phase, which is Jnana Nishtha. Then Jnana comes. And we'll explain Jnana Yoga. What is Jnana Nishtha? We will take a separate class for that. Or in the next 1 or 2 classes, we will explain what Jnana Nishtha is. This particular class, we are focusing a lot on the Karma Yoga and Karma Sannyasa according to Shankaracharya. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Any other
Krishna, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This Sahakari Karanas or the auxiliary means that bhakti is mentioned, right? Avyabhicharya bhakti, he mentions about Krishna.
Maicha Ananya, bhakti is mentioned. Yes, definitely. Maicha Ananya Yogena Bhakti Avyabhicharini. That was the last to be mentioned in the last class.
Yeah. So since this is a stage which is higher than the Karma Yoga, do we take Vasudeva here to be the Nirguna Brahman or the Saguna Brahman?
Saguna Brahman. See, initially a person has to do Saguna Brahma Upasana only, right? Because
during Karma Yoga, he gives up the pala to Saguna Brahman.
Yes. Yes. He has to. Because Karma Yoga, you have to go through a deity. Ishwara is some deity for that person. Any deity could be any deity, right? It could be any kind of deity they're used to. But its form, it has got a form and guna. Some kind of this deity is great, right? See, one person asked me, what if somebody is in Iceland or in a North Pole or something, and all they can eat is seals and other things, and they're Eskimos. Well, they may think that the storm there or some kind of a snowman is God for them. Whatever that person thinks, there should be a higher power, and they have a form for that higher power, that will become enough for them, because Brahman is everywhere, and if that person has dedication and devotion, Brahman will come in any form. So no problem.
The only thing here is in the Shankara is when will Shankara switch from Saguna to Nirguna Brahman? It's because sometimes you are trying to tell that when he says Vasudeva, he identifies it with the Atman. So there it is not the Saguna Brahman.
See, the thing is, what it is, you have to understand 2 things about Shankaracharya. Adhikari bhedena, right? The eligibility criteria has to be there. One has to be adhikari. It has the capability. One should have the capability. Right now, because of the Brahma, that is because of the error, we think that we are the body. In this kind of a situation, we can only deal with Saguna Brahma. But Nirguna Brahma comes only when every connection is all gone, and this person becomes Atma Jnani, and his connection to the world is sort of given up. Even though he might have a body, he doesn't have the connection to the body. Okay, so he may be just watching. He may be a witness to the body, because he has gone up. He has gone in a different zone altogether. So if the person is not ready to that level, he switches back to Saguna Brahman. See, for Saguna Brahman is necessary because he needs some concrete entity in front, because he's at a lower level. Understood?
Krishnanji?
Yes,
can I?
Go ahead.
Can I explain this in a little mathematical way about the Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman
You
about
can
what
tell me, but if I understand, I will let you know. If I don't understand, I'll ask you a question.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
So this is my understanding. Like Shiva is always considered as an Akasha Tattva according to Advaita. That is the closest to compare.
Akasha.
Akasha
Okay.
Tattva. Okay.
Ama.
That is the closest.
Nirakaram appdinu solrava. Ama.
So that is the closest you can get. So, I mean, for all reason, this is the whatever Akasha we see is a Jada Akasha. It has no, it is just, it has got no life.
Correct.
But Brahman it is Satchidananda, but
Correct.
it is a space form. So if
Yes.
I were to teach an elementary school kid, what is a space? It is very, very difficult. The first thing I teach a kid is, okay, start with a point. This is a point. And then the kid understands what is a point. Then I connect 2 points and I say, this is a line. Then I say, okay, I extend this line and this becomes it goes from this infinity to the other infinity, that becomes a line. And then slowly I introduce the concept of plane. And then I say, the plane extends everywhere in the universe. And then when I actually rotate the plane in all directions, then it becomes space. So understanding space involves step-by-step process.
Correct.
Okay, so you start with the first point. The point can be anywhere in the space. Okay, doesn't matter. But still, you understand space. So according to Adi Shankara, you can choose something called as Ishtadevata. Doesn't matter which you worship. Okay, your ultimate goal is to understand what is a space. And to understand the space, you need a guru. That is why, to get to that level of knowledge, that Shravanam Manana Nididhyasanam is extremely important. So, when Saguna Brahman is relevant, when Nirguna Brahman is relevant, depends on the understanding you have. For an elementary school kid, for some time only a little line segment alone makes sense. Nothing beyond that, And then somebody who's little advanced, they understand what is a plane, And for a very, very advanced person, they can know this plane can be rotated in multiple directions, and that is what space is. And the second important thing which Adi Shankara trying to say is this: we are all like superimposition on this Brahman. Okay, if I were to compare it mathematically, everything is on space. Whatever line segment I write, it is on space. Whatever house is there, it is on space. Okay, we are on space. But on the other hand, we understand space is inside me. Okay, so there is a two different.
We understand what? We understand?
The space is inside me. Inside me. Inside Akatha.
Correct. Okay, yes, okay.
Okay, so that is my understanding. That made me help understand this Advaitic philosophy very, very well. That is the simplest. That's the simplest explanation.
That's definitely good. That's definitely good. But I will put a different spin to this. Okay, whatever you said is good to have. This is conceptually good to understand in this way, right? But what happens is still it is something objective you are looking at, right? Because even the space you say, oh, this is a physical space, and this is objective. Objective is, oh, I can see everywhere. This is a huge space, kind of a thing. But in reality, for Shankaracharya, this is anything which is an object is not Brahman.
Right.
So what happens is this external space, Akasha, which is what you're saying. All your mathematical things is dealing with finally a point for a younger child is a point, and point you connect 2 points that becomes a line, and you extend it to infinity, and you have a huge line, and you started rotating in a particular axis. That will cause a plane, and you take the plane and rotate it in a different axis, and that will cover everything in space. So that is a mathematical understanding of space. But at the end of the day, you're still talking about a space, which is something physical. Because all it's telling me is a line and a point and a line and a plane and a space. All these things are giving me physical space. right? But
Correct.
But for Shankaracharya, it is see, the physical space is a good concept at this point, but this is me, this is I, this is Atman. That kind of a feeling comes only when the mind is completely still and it is not being driven by any desire or any thought patterns. And the mind has to completely come to a still position. That is a totally different feeling and understanding. So see, Brahman can never be objective. It is always a subject. It is inside, but it is not in any action either. That means Brahman is not knowing, Brahman is not seeing. See, how do I try to tell you this? See, unfortunately, to tell a concept to a child or a high school kid or a college kid or something, these are all okay. You have to go beyond and say that there is consciousness, not space. Space is still objective. Consciousness is you. And you are now restricted with the upadhis. Upadhis are your mind, body, intellect. You think that, like, a funny guy used to say, oh, I used to think that I'm a bubble around my body because I constantly am aware in the bubble. I'm aware that I'm in front of my computer. I'm aware that I'm going to go from this room to the other room. So it's like a bubble around me. Assume that there is no restriction for the bubble. It's unbounded. There is no container. There is no upadhi. There is no body. There is no mind. There is no constraint of any kind. Then that is you or that. That feeling has to come. And that comes only in meditation. One could get that state, maybe some state like that. So what it is you have to transform from a physical analogy to a experiential feeling.
That's why, I mean, it has been clearly said it is a Jadakasha. That is the closest comparison.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. So the thing is, you're perfectly all right. But I'm sitting in the mind of a child or a high school kid or a college kid. I'm thinking, will that be sufficient? If I understand space, will I be sufficient? See, any 10th grade kid would know what a space is, right? Mm-hmm. Because they would have done mathematics. They would have done, the Cartesian coordinates and things like that. So they would have done some mathematics and they would know space. But would they feel this Brahman? See, because look at how Brahman is described in the Upanishads. Again, thing is that na chakshusha
chakshu agrahyam agotram.
No, the thing is, it is not perceived by sight. But think that your sight is working because of that. What is that?
Na vidmo na vijanimo.
That is one thing is there. But na chakshusha pashyate kaschanainam hrida manisha manasa birikrupto. There are so many statements, right? Na chakshusha pashyate kaschanainam. Nobody sees it through the eyes, but he is making us see. And that he does not have hands, but he's everywhere. He does not have mind. Apani pado hyamano javiya. He's faster than mind. He's everywhere. Yeah, it goes to space, but it's something more. It is making everything alive, making everything work. Something dynamic, something higher level than space. Correct. Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
That's why
we're agreeing. Yeah, we're agreeing. See, what I suggest is try to get some very nice analogies from the Upanishads. Like Swami Chinmayananda used to say this, right? The tongue cannot taste the taste of the tongue.
Yeah.
But the tongue performs. And that Brahman is making the tongue taste everything else. So the thing is, there's something within which is making other things.
That's why you see we have the name Chidambaram, right? The word
Yes,
Chidambaram, right? Chit is like consciousness, right? It is like
Correct.
it is aware of everything. Ambaram is Akasham.
Correct.
It is like an Akasham which has got consciousness.
Yes,
that is
definitely.
very reason for the name Chidambaram.
Chidambaram.
It's very powerful.
Very powerful, and that is sufficiently gives you an idea of what is Brahman, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So once you add consciousness to the space, you got it. Correct.
Yeah, that is why the name. They first compare it to Jadakasham, and then they go one step further, and then they say it is Chidambaram. You know,
perfectly right. That is perfectly right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Krishna,
and one more
in the Gita, Bhagavan.
1 second, Suresh. One more question. What is that?
No. Let him go ahead. You were. I just wanted to tell about Adi Shankara's last rites for his mom, but after Suresh. No,
sure,
no
okay.
problem. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Suresh.
When Bhagavan says Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina in the 9th chapter, and even the 15th chapter, he says that Ishwara is all pervading. He pervades the Kshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha. So Bhagavan says that. So in all these things, Krishna is, we understand Bhagavan as telling that, and we understand Bhagavan as all pervading.
Correct.
We understand it like literally. Now, how does Shankara understand this? In this context, is he speaking in terms of Saguna Brahman or in terms of Nirguna Brahman, actually?
The thing is, whenever
because
speaking,
Saguna Brahman.
No. It's whenever speaking, communicating, talking to Arjuna, acting in the war comes, that is Saguna Brahman only. Right? And
so when he says it's all pervading, we have to take it as Saguna Brahman is all pervading, right? The pervasion, including he equates himself to the Akasha. So in all these things, we have to take it as Saguna Brahman.
I think everything should be taken as Saguna Brahman only. You know why? Actually, you're bringing a very good point. Pervasion in space, right? The moment you say pervasion, where does it pervade? Obviously, you have to relate to space, right?
Yeah, and otherwise there's no meaning.
Then the space has also double meaning here. It also means Jadakasha, right?
Yes.
That means pervasion is happening between two objects. That is the pervading entity and that which is being pervaded, right?
Yes.
Then that it does not refer to even Nirguna Brahman. Because Nirguna Brahman is totally attributeless. You cannot, even all pervasion cannot be ascribed to Nirguna Brahman. Did you realize that?
Yes.
Yeah, very important point. See, if you ask any Advaiti, common person, Advaiti, right? Oh, what is this Nirguna Brahman? Oh, formless and all pervading. That is Nirguna Brahman. That's wrong. Because the moment you say formless, that becomes an attribute. That is exactly why we said in the Advaita, when we summarized Advaita long in a few classes before, Neti Neti Ityeva. That means only through the method of not this can you determine or denote Brahman. You cannot directly say this is Brahman. Because anything which you say this becomes an object. If I say all pervading entity, that becomes an object. If it becomes an object, that is not Brahman. Because Brahman is away from all this. That is why it is Neti Neti only. You cannot denote Brahman in any way. Very
It's
important.
very difficult for the
No, very difficult for
I mean, in this line of thinking, it's very difficult that Bhagavan points to a Nirguna Brahman in his talk.
See,
the entire Bhagavad Gita looks
think from a different perspective. There is no connect with Nirguna Brahman. You cannot do Upasana on Nirguna Brahman. Shankaracharya agrees with it. Only highest level Atmajnani who is disconnected from this body. He doesn't think through the mind, doesn't see through the eyes. He's always everywhere. If he gets to that level, then that is real, and he cannot talk about it either. Why? Mauna Vyakhyana. You cannot talk about something which is beyond attributes. That is how Shankaracharya says. See, we're talking about Shankaracharya's view here, right? What is attributeless entity? Very hard to even talk about it.
So one point here, Adi Shankara says, Brahman is attributeless. But there are only three things that he says. It's Sat Chit Anandam. Like, even if you take the Sanskrit word Anandam, right, there is no opposite for that. Happiness, there is a opposite word. Ananda, there is no opposite word. Another interpretation for the Anandam, they also give as Ananta also. It is like infinite.
Sure.
Okay, and then it has got pure existence because it is everywhere, just like space, on which everything is a substratum for anything, whether it is a point or a plane or a house, everything, the substratum is a space. Brahman is a space, but that itself has got no forms. It needs something else. It shows up until and unless something, a house shows up, only then you can realize the substratum.
See, but you have to watch a little bit here. Okay, let me tell you why. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is very well, the right Upanishadic statement you have taken. But if you look at Shankara Bhashya, what does Shankaracharya says about Satyam? He doesn't say existence, because existence becomes a positive attribute. What you have to say, according to Shankara Bhashya, is Asat Vyavritta. That means that which is not non-existence. Jnana means, what does it say? Satyam, Asat Vyavritta, Ajnana Vyavritta. That means that which is not knowledge. He never says it, that is Jnanam. And Ananda is, that's a good point you brought. Ananda does not have any, opposite. How can you present Ananda? He always see, in fact, in that particular original verse of Taittiriya Upanishad, Ananda doesn't come there. That particular sentence says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Yo Vedanihitam Guhayam Parame Pyoman. That is the verse. In that, Ananta is there. And Shankaracharya says, Antavat, he says that which is not finite. So he will not say infinite. He will not say existence. He will not say consciousness or a chit. He will not say. He says that which is other than a chit. The negative pointing is very important in Shankara Bhashya. In Advaita, you cannot have any positive understanding of Brahman at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Think about it, and then you go to the Shankara Bhashya. You can download the Shankara Bhashya of Taittiriya Upanishad, and you look at this particular thing. And I can probably refer to Shankara Bhashya of the Brahma Sutra somewhere. It talks about Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. I'm sure in the Brahma Sutras you get. See, that is why Shankaracharya even defines, for example, in the Brahma Sutras, there is a sutra called Janmadhyasya Yataha, right? What is the characteristic of Brahman? The Sutrakara, that is Badarayana, says Janmadi Yasya Yataha. That means what gives rise to Janma. That is what creates this universe. What sustains this universe. What gobbles up this universe, that is absorbs it at the end. So this is Brahman. That is what the Sutrakara says. Shankaracharya says that is not the definition of Brahman. He says that is only Tatastha Lakshana. Tatastha is, it is like saying, where is the moon? I look at the branch and say, luckily in my background you can see trees. Oh, over there, that branch, behind that branch, that is moon. Say. So I am only defining not the moon, I am defining the branch, which branch it is. So like that, the Satyam or Jagat Karanatva, that is the cause of the universe, is only a secondary attribute of Brahman. That is Tatastha Lakshana. It is not the attribute of Brahman at all. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is not an attribute again. For Shankaracharya, nothing is an attribute of Brahman. Very important. So only you can see as no Brahman has not this.
But in Nirvana Shatakam, he says Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, right?
Yeah. See, see there Chidananda Rupaha, that's good point you brought. Chidananda Rupaha, Shivoham Shivoham. He explains it in simple words in that shloka, right? But it is not positively, he is not referring to it. That's how his whole explanations come. That is a simple verse. The Nirvana Shataka is Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham. See, it definitely goes into an interesting zone. Yoga Taravali and other okay, actually you're bringing a very powerful point here. See, this is what my Guruji Sri Keswi says. Okay, Shankaracharya did not want to mean Nirguna Brahman at all. Even in Yoga Taravali and other Shastras of Shankaracharya, other works of Shankaracharya, there is an internal consciousness experience, and that is not associated with any body or any element around. And that experience is Brahman. That is the basis of everything. That is the cause of everything. He is a positive person. But the thing is, because at that time to explain the Shastras to the Jnanamargis, which are like Buddhists and other people, he introduced the concept of Nirguna Brahman. He never wanted to introduce the concept of Nirguna Brahman, but all over his Bhashyas, he has already introduced Nirguna Brahman, and that is a central part of Advaita, right? But really speaking, if you look at his Yoga Taravali and other works, they're all Saguna kind. Even though they are formless, they are Saguna. That is Sarvashakta, all pervading, all knowledgeable, all aware, all capable. So with infinite energies, but all pervading. So that is positive. It has features, it has attributes, it's positive, but it doesn't have a form. See, that's a better explanation of Advaita, and that is why most people take that as Advaita. But really, according to Shankara's original writings, Advaita cannot be explained in that way. It is totally attributeless. Nothing can be connected with it. It's very funny, and it's really difficult to understand this, but that's the truth. And this Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, what you mentioned, is actually the true explanation of what Shankaracharya meant, but that's not what he means when he explains in the Brahma Sutras. And Brahma Sutras very clearly says it cannot be denoted in any way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can become it. You can become it. And wherever there is action, even a worship, even a bhakti, worship, purity, and all those things, that is only for a Saguna Brahman. And what you graduate out, then all of this will have to be dissolved. The Saguna Brahman gets dissolved. Your worship will get dissolved. You will get dissolved. There will be nothing left but that entity. And that is not experienceable. And even the term Aham Brahmasmi is not right. It is not the final level of Advaita. Because if you say Aham, that means you're still there. Aham, I have become Brahman. That means I is there, Brahman is there. When there are two things, that is not Advaita. So it's very hard to explain Advaita for a child or even for an old man like.
Looks like, I mean, when we hear all these things, it looks like the utter subjectivity is what is meant by Neti Neti, where one cannot speak anything.
Exactly, it's utter subjectivity. See, Nityaji, please ask other people also. Talk to Paramartha if you know Paramartha who is sitting in.
Yeah, I know him personally. Yeah.
You ask him and say, I asked somebody like this and he said this. Do you think he is right or not?
Sure. And
please ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if if you don't get the right answer, pass me the phone number of Paramartha. I will call. In fact, very funny, Paramartha organization, the guy who communicates, he's the guy behind the website and all. He wrote an email to me. When I first explained the Bhagavad Advaita, in the particular picture I put together the Rajakumara Nyaya, Rajakumara story, and the snake's rope illusion, and the Abhasava, the reflection of sun on different surfaces. All the picture I had put it and I explained. And he immediately wrote to me, I love the way you have explained Advaita. It's so powerful. So I'm in touch with Paramartha group here and there. So I would definitely like to talk to him. In fact, I'm trying to get his Ishwara Upanishad lectures, because I'm trying to prepare a new course on 3 acharyas on Ishavasya Upanishad. This will be my course design for the next 6 months or something. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to offer it.
Yeah, if you understand, Tamil, like, Swami Omkarananda's Ishavasya Upanishad is there as a playlist itself on his YouTube channel. I listen to it.
Please send that link to me. But I thought the Paramartha is the really big person there, right, in the organization. Yeah. That he is the original teacher of that, or the higher level teacher, right?
Yeah, Swami Omkarananda.
See, my friend thinks that Paramartha is a one level higher than Omkarananda. Omkarananda is a wonderful presenter. He is a TV personality. He presents in a very understandable language and very public skills, and oratory is all very good. But I wanted a person who is very Shastra-oriented, higher level person. And if Paramartha, my friend suggested to talk to Paramartha, or to listen to Paramartha Ishavasya. So I would like to get a little bit more from him.
Sure. And regarding the Shravanam Mananam, I will send a very small clipping where Swami Omkarananda has, Swami Paramartha summarized it. I'll send that to you.
And I would love to, yeah. Because, one thing, in Advaita, what does Vichara Shastra mean? Vichara, right? Concept of their, Tattvamasi Shravana, or Vakyartha Jnanan Mokshaha, or their concept of Vichara, like how Ramana Maharshi does Vichara, right? Who am I Vichara? These are all very complex processes. See, unfortunately, we're all studying, right? A real thing would be if somebody comes and tells you, oh, I have understood everything what Shankaracharya has said, because I've already realized that. I've understood what Ramanujacharya said, because I already realized that. I've understood what Madhvacharya has said, because I've already realized that. If somebody comes and tells you, that is your true guru, because the person can give you any aspect in any way.
I'm an Advaiti, but I'll tell you one thing that I really enjoy about all these. I don't know much about Dvaitam. Both of them finally take us to the state of Sharanagati. That is very important. But Vaishnava's way of Sharanagati is Sriman Narayana is everything and surrender. And in case of Advaiti, all they think is like this body, everything else other than the Brahman, it is just acting through, Brahman is acting through these body and all these inanimate things. Even the mind is also an inanimate thing. That's all. And then when the mind is conscious that I'm not acting on my own, the energy is coming from the Brahman, that is the Sharanagati. And I really enjoy these two views on Sharanagati, by both of them. And at some point of time in the day, I really like to be like, just thinking about Lord Rama, some of the, remembering something about Tyagaya Kirtana, and then that state of mind is also the same. And then to be oneness. Whenever somebody say I'm very happy, they say I'm one with that, right? Whenever I do math, I'm just one with it. I just get merged into it. It is the same thing. And I never understood. And the Bhakti Bhava, especially from the Vaishnavas, I mean, it is incredible. That is like a state I like to experience, although I like to remain only as a Dvaiti. But that state, just to go to Vishnu temple and see him decorated as a Lord of the universe, it gives me immense joy. There's no comparison at all. So there are two things. But the Sharanagati,
even in what you call in Vaishnava, the Archamurti experience, all are all even initial, right? The thing is, their concept is Vaikuntha, finally. And even in Vaikuntha, what happens at the end? You go in the Paryanka Vidya of the Kaushitiki Upanishad, they say you go to Vaikuntha, then you are supposed to go near the Paramatma, and Paramatma is sitting on the throne, and then the Adishesha or something, and he says, come, and then he asks, who are you? And that person says, what? Soham asmi. I am you.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you. That's all.
Neither did many Sri Vaishnavas know that, because they want to stop at the level of Vaikuntha at a particular level. What does Vaikuntha means? Limitless is Vaikuntha, right? See, everybody has been given a picture of Vaikuntha that a person is sitting on a throne, and then also he is sitting on the serpent, which is Adishesha. Have you seen a serpent? Have you seen the Adishesha? These are all pictorial presentations. And even in Archamurti temple, you have it similarly. Vaikuntanath or Perumal, this Perumal, that Perumal, you will already see that. Yes. But what happens when person leaves the body and actually goes to Vaikuntha? Who knows? Have they taken a photograph of Vaikuntha and come back and sent it in WhatsApp to us? I'm asking everyone here. I'm asking Suresh Shangar. Talk to me from Sri Vaishnava point of view. Tell me, every Acharya from the Sri Vaishnava point of view say, I enjoy that, that and all those things. What is the real enjoyment when you have gone beyond the Shariratma Brahma, when the body contraction, mind, the power of the mind overview, you've gone beyond it. You've gone beyond all those things. You are sitting in Vaikuntha, explain to me how you feel. Explain to me what a form is. Explain to me, Ramanujacharya says in Vaikuntha, in the Avibhagena Drishtatvat means I am non-separate from Brahman. That is what I experience. In fact, Ramanujacharya gives a Purva Paksha. Am I separate from Brahman? No. Aham Brahmasmi Tyeva Anubhavati. Brahma is within me. I am inside. I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi Tyeva Anubhavati. I feel that I am Brahman. That's what in Brahma Sutra Ramanujacharya says. Now explain to me, what is the pictorial view of Vaikuntha? Even according to Ramanujacharya, he wrote Vaikuntha Gadya, which is very pictorial. But what will you really experience when you go there? There's still a question mark, right?
Oneness.
One thing I can...
Sir, actually...
Anubhavati.
Hello, sir. In your 45th lecture, you quoted from one day you asked your KSV Sir Guru. He told even Ramanujacharya accepted Shankara's view there is ultimate reality, only one Brahman. You told in one of your 45th class lecture, you told us 65th or 67th lecture.
At the asymptotic level, there one entity has to be accepted. Okay, there is no other choice. The reason is Sadeva Somyedamagra Asita Ekameva Advitiyam. Only one existed. without a second. Even if you say Vaikuntha is not included in this particular statement, there are statements which will say Astam Gachanti Namarupe Vihaya. Tada Vidwan Punya Pape Vidhuya. Right, that is what is that Mundaka verse? It says Yata Nadya Sindhavanaha Samudre Astam Gachanti Namarupe Vihaya. Tada Vidwan Punya Pape Vidhuya. Niranjanaha Paramam Swami. If something like that it comes, right? There, what do you call it? It says Namarupa will go away when the Jiva joins the ocean or the Brahman. Like how the rivers lose their form and color and everything once they join ocean. They become one. Can it be explained in words from here? Whether you use Sanskrit or any other Arabic language or Tamil language or anything, can you explain that? Sitting from here, they're all beyond words and mind. So, but pictorial view is good for people, and that pictorial view is given. But who knows exactly what we experience when we go there? But for all purposes, even Nammalvar says, Kadal Jnanam Nane Yavene Ennum, I don't remember the Tamil verse properly. So the thing is, he says, I have become this ocean. I have become this ocean of knowledge, jnana. I'm everything, he says. What is that? You can put any pictorial view you want. A new colorful Vaikuntha picture. You tell the ISKCON people they will write better paintings than you could ever imagine. But what is it according to the Shastras? Can you describe it? These are all just words. Experience is very different. So we just keep quiet, that's all. And not much difference between these two systems. Vishishtadvaita and Advaita, they're not much different at that end stage.
That's why in Tamil, we say, Kandavar Vindadillai, Vindavar Kandadillai. You know, those who have seen, those who have experienced cannot talk. And those who have not experienced, they talk a lot. Kandavar Vindadillai, Vindavar Kandadillai.
Right. Yes. So in the process of
இங்க நித்திய விபூதியில போனா என்ன அனுபவிக்க போறோம்னு கேட்டதுக்கு சும்மா ஒரே ஒரு வார்த்தை சொல்லலான்ட்டு நம்ம இங்க அனுபவிக்கிற ஷடூர்மிகள் இல்ல. அஸ்தி ஜாயத்தே பரிணமத்தே விவர்த்ததே அபக்ஷியத்தே வினஷ்யதி அப்படின்ற ஷடூர்மிகள் போயிடுறது. அப்புறம் அவர் அத்வைத்தத்துல அவர் சொன்ன மாதிரியே விபுவான ஞானம், அந்த விபுவான ஞானத்தினால பகவான அனுபவிச்சுட்டு பகவானுக்கு அங்க, ஆனா நீங்க சொன்னது எனக்கு புது விஷயமா இருந்தது. அங்க போய் நம்ம வந்து சோகம் சொல்ற மாதிரி நான் கேட்டது இல்ல அடியேன். நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம்,
நான் கௌஷிக்கு எடுத்து காட்டுறேன் உங்களுக்கு.
கௌஷிக்கு அடியேன் படிக்கல அடியேன், க்ஷமிக்கணும்.
In fact, I have it in front of me.
இல்ல அத நான் அவ்வளவு படிக்கல அடியேன், எனக்கு தெரியாது. பட் சாதாரண நம்ம பூர்வாச்சாரியாலாம் என்ன சொல்றா அப்படின்னா, உன்னோட தாசபூத்தன் அப்படின்னு தான் சொல்றா.
ஆமா, சரி தாசன், அதுதான் விஷயம் தான் இருக்கணும். என்னன்னு தெரியுது இங்க நாம் தனியா தானே இருக்கும், பேஷண்ட் இருக்கும்.
எல்லாம் சொல்றத வச்சுதான், யாரும் போய் பார்த்துட்டு வந்து சொல்லல, எல்லாம் ஒரு இதுலதான் கற்பனையிலதான் நம்ம வந்து பாசுரங்கள் எல்லாம் வச்சுட்டு அப்படிதான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். பட் அதுல நம்ம அப்படி ஏத்துண்டு அந்த விபுவான ஞானம், அந்த ஞானம் வந்து அவர் சொல்றதும் அதுதான், இப்ப நம்மள சொல்றதும் அதுதான். விபுவான ஞானம் வந்து அந்த ஆனந்தம், அதனால கிடைக்கிறது, பகவான அனுபவிக்கிறோம் கைங்கரியம் பண்ணிட்டு அப்படின்னு. அதெல்லாம் தப்பு சொல்லியிருந்தா மன்னிக்கணும், எனக்கு என்ன சொல்லணும்னு தோணுச்சு.
As long as there is bheda, as long as we are talking here, as long as bhakti is the only thing for all people, including Advaitis, including Deities, including everybody. பக்தி இல்லாத இல்லவே இல்லையா? பக்தியா மாம் அபிஜானாதி, என்ன தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறது நீ பக்தினாலதான் தெரிஞ்சுக்க போற. பக்தி வேணும். சோ இவ என்ன சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கான்னா, விஷ்டாத்வைதா என்ன சொல்றான்னா, the focus is on bhakti. ஏன்னா அங்க போன மாதிரி பாத்துக்கிறேன் எப்படி இருக்க போறோம்ட்டு. அப்படி அதானே இந்த ராதா பாவம் சொல்றான். அந்த கோபிகா ஸ்திரீகள் நானே கொன்னேன் அவனை, அந்த ராட்சசனை நானே தான் காளிங்க மர்தனம் பண்ணிருது அப்படின்னு தானே சொல்றான். அந்த கோபிகா கீதங்கள்ல எல்லாம்
அதை இங்கேயே அனுபவிச்சிடுறாவா. அந்த பரிபூர்ண பிரம்ம அனுபவத்தை இங்கேயே அனுபவிக்கிறா. ஏன்னா மனசுல அந்த அளவுக்கு பாவம் வந்துடுறது, பாவ பக்தி.
இதேதான் கடல் ஞானம் பாசனம். நம்ம
கடல் ஞானம் செய்தேனும் நானே என்னும், கடல் ஞானம் ஆவேனும் நானே என்னும் பாடுறாரு. வாஸ்தவம் தான், எல்லாமே நான் தான் அப்படின்ற.
அது 10 பாட்டு பாடுறா, ஒரே பாட்டு இல்லைங்க இல்லையா?
ஆமா ஆமா ஆமா
10 பாட்டு.
ஆமா ஆமா.
See, the thing is, interestingly, I'm going through Edu Vyakyanam of Namayvar now. T.A. Vardhan Swami, Manivanan Swami, they're all teaching me. Namayvar மாதிரி சொல்லவே முடியாது.
இந்த பாசுரம் தான் அனுபவிக்கிறதுக்கு நமக்கு. அனுபவம்னா அந்த பாசுரங்கள்ல தான் நமக்கு கிடைக்கிறது.
ஆமா ஆமா. எஸ்.
நீங்க ரொம்ப ஃபார்ச்சுனேட். அதெல்லாம் படிச்சிட்டு.
Regarding this Sohamasmi, there is a hello.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
See, there is a philosophical angle also here. For that question which you told, Sohamasmi, there is a philosophical angle here. In Vishishtadvaita, we talk of apratik siddhi. So theoretically, it means we are understanding. When it comes to experience, it's beyond words, and if at all it can be told in words, it can only be told as Sohamasmi or Aham Brahma. Apratik siddhi can be expressed like that with Bhagavan.
Yeah. See, that is true. That is why even in the Brahma Sutras, they stop at Bhogya Matra Samya Lingacha. See, we have similar experience to Brahman there, right? And Jagat Vyapara Varjam. That means we cannot create the universe. So the creation and everything still becomes, belongs to Brahman. So there is a small level of difference there, which even the Sutrakara, Brahma Sutrakara says there, a small level of difference is there. Because even Shankaracharya has to explain Jagat Vyapara Varjam. What does it mean that I cannot get into this, managing this universe business? Shankaracharya has to explain there and says, இதெல்லாம் சகுண பிரம்மத்துக்கு சொல்லியிருக்கு, நிர்குண பிரம்மத்துக்கு இந்த விஷயம் கிரியேஷனே கிடையாது, ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது என்று நிர்குண பிரம்மம் வேற எங்கேயோ சொல்றாரு Shankaracharya அதுல அங்கே.
Yeah, not only this, even in this Ishavasya Upanishad, there is one particular shloka like Pushan Ekarshe. So in the end of it, there also it comes as Sohamasmi.
Yes, that is the Ishavasya. Pushan Ekarshe.
Ishavasya.
Yamasurya Prajapatya. Rashmin Samoha
Tejan, yeah, exactly.
Yatte Rupam Kalyana Tatte Pashyami.
See, I'm not finding the exact words from Kaushitaki. I will figure it out and get that. I also want to clarify if I'm saying it right. Okay, so I want to get that for you for sure.
Before we wind up, I really wanted to tell about, Adi Shankara's last rites to his mother.
Tell me.
Yeah, when his mom is very sick, and then she thinks about Shankara, and then Adi Shankara was in Sringeri at that time, because most part of Adi Shankara's life was spent in Sringeri, about more than 10 years or so. As soon as she calls him, he immediately, using yogic powers, he goes to Kaladi, and then she's in the deathbed, and then he's by her side, and then he wanted to cremate her, and everybody objects to it. At that time, nobody is even willing to help him, so he takes his mother's dead body on his shoulder, and he goes to the backyard of their house, and then he uses like the wet plantain leaves. I don't know, varamaro. I don't know how to say that. He uses that. He invokes Agni Bhagavan to be, kind to his kind and come in that, and then he cremates the body, and then he tells all those Nambudri Brahmins, if alone you don't cremate your, the dead body of your of your family in your backyard, you will be destroyed. And that is why even Nambudris, no matter what it is, they burn their, if there is death in the family, they burn in the backyard.
Wow. Okay. Even today.
Yeah. Even today. That is a curse given by, Adi Shankara to them.
for not
helping him.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
they thought he was coming back to get some wealth from, his paternal wealth. And they also didn't like the fact that he went as a sannyasi. There were so many loose talks without not understanding about him. That is
exactly.
like one of the major things.
He gave up the sannyas ashrama vrata. That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, today it turned out to be more of an Advaitic topic. I didn't want to.
It is an Advaitic topic. Shankar Bhashya, we are saying the overview of Shankar Bhashya. I hope I didn't say something else.
No, it is always nice to hear the other point, but and for a very long time, I have never understood Chidambaram is Akasham. Every time when we went to Chidambaram temple, people said it is Akasham, never understood. And it took a while for me to understand the Akasha Tattvam compared to Chidambaram, a conscious Akasham.
Yeah. See, the thing is, someday I will explain to you the conversation between Tota Puri and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa about form and formlessness. How they work together and how they are connected. It's a very powerful 4-page article written by my guru, Sri KSV. And he says both are important. Saguna and Nirguna, both are important. And that comes out in the conversation of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Tota Puri. That I will explain to you. It's very interesting. Some people think that, oh, that's not purely Advaitic or something like that. But it's really powerful. It is Advaitic and it's again very powerful.
In this modern age, anybody can write anything or anybody can say anything. But when it comes to KSV, his words are golden words. That's how I look at it. I mean, I listened to a few of his lectures, spellbounded.
Yeah. He does not, get constrained by anybody's view. He says that is the Satyam, that is the truth, and I know. And you tell me why I'm wrong if I'm telling you. And he only directly goes to the Upanishad words, directly goes to the depth. That's why. And obviously, his other guru has taught him yoga. So he is also talking from experience and not just textual analysis.
Wow.
Yeah. Very good. 10:20 now. We can stop today. Couple of hours. It's almost like 2 hours now.
Sir, can you just share it with that PDF? I just want to go through that slides. Sir. Can you just share today's PDF you made? 12 slides.
Yeah, I will convert to PDF and upload it.
Please, sir, because I want to go through it, sir. So
I will upload this too. I have to name it properly because my naming convention has become bad. I have never corrected the names, the numbers of the lectures. So we'll do it. I'll send it to you today.
Okay.
The session was very insightful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very